One of the cons of being a movie critic is that once in a while you come across a movie that really divides opinion, a movie that has great potential but wasn't utilized to the fullest, a movie with a great protagonist that somehow became a side character in a movie that's supposedly about him, a movie with the perfect first 20 minutes and an unsatisfying closing act, a movie that had it all and still lacked key fundamental elements of a good story. And Breath of Life is one of those movies. So let's get into the plot, shall we? The movie starts us off with a narration by Elijah as he walks us through the early life of his father, Reverend Mr. Timmy, who is a jack of all trades, master of all kind of guy. So he gets bored of being the best at everything, so he decides to become a reverend. Wait, what? Never mind. So Timmy and his wife and kid comes back home to head the church. All is well until a gang attacks the town and kills an old guy that looks like he could be important, and Timmy testifies against their leader, who is called Baby Fire because he likes to burn stuff. Okay, I guess. So the judge rules in favor of Baby Fire and acquits him. Realizing he's endangered his family, he tells them to flee, but they're caught by Baby Fire and his boys and killed in the most gruesome way. Timmy, riddled with anger, kills Baby Fire and retreats to a life of solitude, shutting himself off from the world and God. Wait, why are you angry at God for? You got your family killed, not him. You decided to testify as a witness, disregarding stern warning from townsfolks. Whatever. So Timmy tried killing himself so many times, if I may add, but he couldn't die. He drank bleach and he just slept it off. I don't know, man. Even I am shocked. So 30 years has passed and Timmy is now an old man who needs assistance. But the problem is, he's tried to kill every one of his manservants. And in steps our narrator, Elijah, a young, love-struck, emotional idiot who goes to pieces whenever he's yelled at. And oh yeah, he's asthmatic too. Timmy and Elijah's relationship gets off to a rocky start, but soon enough, Timmy warms up to Elijah, and this once sad, once lonely man smiles for the first time in a very long time. And I have to say, that was lovely to see. So anyway, Elijah falls for a woman whose father wants to demolish the church, a church owned by Timmy, but because of forfeit of payment, he's lost the church. And this hurts Elijah because he wants to become a pastor. So Timmy pays off the money he owes the government and the church becomes permanently his and everyone's happy. But oh no, Elijah has chronic lung failure and he needs a lung transplant. Well, as you'd imagine, there isn't a lung donor in sight and time is running out. So Timmy adopts Elijah, willing every possession, every wealth of his to him, then goes to his old church, cries a little, and then he falls down and dies. And doctors miraculously show up, wheel him to the hospital, transfer his lungs to Elijah. Yep, I'm not kidding, guys. This is the kind of stuff that happens in this movie. Anyway, good thing they showed up when they did. Otherwise, if he crossed the 40 minutes mark, his lungs wouldn't be viable for transplant, and he would have died for nothing. It was almost like he said, hey guys, I'm going to go die in that church now, so you follow right behind, right? And then Elijah goes to Cambridge to test out his new lungs. Wouldn't want to fake lungs now, would we? So that's the plot. You know, if I had to start with the positives, I'd say this story is different. It has a unique tone to it. I definitely enjoyed the 1980s nostalgic feeling it had, from their architecture to their clothes, and there were some emotional scenes that either made me laugh or made me really sad. Case in point, when Timmy's wife and daughter were brutally killed. The other positive is, Wale Ojo's performance as an older Timmy was nothing short of spectacular. He invests in his character with so much humanity, pain, sadness, and anger that it feels so real. The negative of this movie, though, is glaring for everyone to see. The first is in its narration. It says that this isn't a story about me, but a story about my father. And 20 minutes later, Timmy becomes a side character in a movie about him. He was overshadowed by Elijah and Anna's love story, which forms the midpoint of the entire film. The second problem is Elijah himself. He comes off as a shy and timid man-child who gets panic attack whenever Anna's around. I mean, shit, I'm not a doctor, but I know asthma attacks don't come off as frequent as this movie puts it out to be. His motivations, on the other hand, is another shit show. He wants to be a pastor, okay? Great. But you cannot become a pastor by working as a houseboy. You become a pastor by serving under a reverend, you twat. The next problem is in the plot thread. Timmy's anger is misplaced. His inability to listen to townsfolk cost his family their lives. He knew if he testified against Baby Fire, they'd come for him, but he did it anyway. It was also implied that the reason Baby Fire killed the old guy was because he was an anti-colonialist, and that didn't sit well with some of the British overlords still in the country. And take note, this movie was set in 1953, post-colonial era. So even if Nigeria had gotten its independence, the country was still very much controlled by the British government. And in the church scene where they were contemplating the arrest of Baby Fire, a man said, well, if this was a white man who was killed by Baby Fire, he'd be on death row by now. But 10 minutes later, Baby Fire killed Timmy's wife, who was a British citizen herself, and nothing happened. That's a lazy plot thread. And also the final act of the movie was underwhelming. My general opinion is I like this movie, I really do. Its story is unique. I haven't seen a movie about post-colonial era in Nigeria made by Nollywood in a while, so this was refreshing. And there is an underwhelming theme about spirituality in the movie. The man of God who feels he's been forsaken by his God, a lover's quarrel, and a race against time to find a donor. All of these are great concepts that wasn't fully utilized. And I can't help but feel that in the hands of a competent director with genuine artistic visions, this could have been one of the most astonishing movies to ever come out of Nollywood. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. See you next time.